empowering. So today we're going to talk about building muscle. We're going to be talking about clean fuel for plant-powered gains. So building muscle and staying fit on a plant-based lifestyle. I'm really excited and passionate about this topic, and we're gonna cover, what some of the tools that you can find in Purium to build your muscle, because a lot of people come in, they're actually scared of cleansing. They're scared of the word cleanse because they think that means muscle wasting, or losing. It means like weight loss only. And yes, we've seen, if you've been following this movement, there's incredible weight loss success stories, but that's not everyone's goal. And so actually it's amazing how we can adapt this to actually be for people who want to gain, and people who want to gain muscle. We can adapt this. And so we're going to share with you some of the products in Purium that help with that and the lifestyle around it, and then hear from some really inspiring people who are living proof of this, of this lifestyle. So before we get into the products, are we gonna do, sorry, should we do in the news?
Absolutely. I'm just
Thank
ready for you.
you.
Thank you so much. Super excited for this topic today. We have so much to share with you. And so, talking about muscles, building muscles, protein, we wanted to highlight the amino acids because our amino acids are so high grade. They were formulated by a doctor. They have so many benefits of helping you build muscle. And if you're losing weight, they help you lose weight and burn fat. And then they help your skin elasticity as well. So it has so many incredible benefits. And that's just to name a few. So first, let's look at the basics. How does your body build muscle? So during weight-bearing exercise, microscopic tears are created in the muscle fibers, which lead to inflammation and increased blood supply to the affected area. So this brings lots of substances to the area to help repair and grow muscle tissue. And so protein is one of the substances. Proteins are made up of smaller building blocks called amino acids. There are many types of amino acids, but 20 of them are considered essential to maintain your body's healthy function. So meat from animals contains all of the essential amino acids your body needs. Um, and they're saying here not with plants, but that's not necessarily true, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. While plant-based diets are often do contain all the essential amino acids, in aggregate, any one plant-based food will not. So if you're just eating one food, you're not getting all your amino acids. That's why it's important to incorporate your different flex foods with the aminos, because it actually helps to complete all of the building blocks. So there's lots to be shared about amino acids, but I have an even more exciting article for you all. And this one is from Game Changers. So I'm curious if you guys have watched Game Changers. Go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments, and a 2 if you have not yet, because this is an incredible movie to watch and to share. This is a great movie to have as a watch party, to get some friends together, watch it together, and really create an event around it. So this, I love the saying at the top, you hit like a vegetarian by Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Because it's so important that with a plant-based diet doesn't mean that you have muscle loss. So the stereotype of weak, skinny vegan has become a universal that most people would have hard time believing any person of significant size or strength didn't eat meat or other animal products. This is because we've been conditioned to believe that you need to eat lots of animal protein to build muscle and strength, and that protein really only comes from animal foods. Of course, only one of those two beliefs is actually true. As anyone who has ever seen an herbivorous silverback gorilla can easily deduce, right? They're huge animals, they have lots of muscle. Most people, however, seem to think that humans are more like lions, requiring meat or some form of animal protein at every meal to get big and strong. As discussed in What About Protein, there are many reasons for how this myth became so ingrained in the popular culture. But the reality is that from the hippie culture in the 60s until fairly recently, a lot of those who followed a plant-based diet were pretty skinny. This is partly because for several decades, most people who chose meat and animal-free diets did so solely for ethical, environmental, or health reasons and didn't really care about having to build muscle. So those who did care often lacked the basic nutritional understanding necessary to build muscle and strength eating plants. So as evidence and game changers, all of that has changed. The age of the weak, celery munching vegan is over. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger, the godfather of muscle and strength, is now advising people to just chill it with the meat, acknowledging that there is no reason why eating plant-based diet should pose any barriers to getting big and strong, and that doing so may even offer significant advantages. So here's some of the basics. Caloric surplus. Building muscle and strength is actually pretty simple from a physiological point of view. Work out consistently and eat lots of food. If you train hard, but you don't eat enough, or eat lots of food but don't train enough, you probably won't gain muscle much or get much stronger. This applies to everyone, whether you eat meat or not. For novice lifters, eating lots of food means consuming 20 to 40% more calories than required for daily maintenance. And for more advanced lifters, 10 to 20% more. One of the greatest things about plant-based food is that by volume, it typically contains fewer calories than animal-based foods, allowing us to eat more total food and feel fuller without necessarily gaining more body fat. You can find out more on this link, and we'll be sharing this link in the chat as well as in the Million Mom Movement official, so you can go and click on the various links because it's such an interesting article, especially to share out into our community. For people whose top priority is to gain muscle and strength, people on a plant-based diet need to focus on plant-based foods that have higher caloric density than, say, lettuce. Generally speaking, this means that making sure that the meals and snacks include hefty amounts of grains, beans, tofu, tempeh, meat, dairy alternatives, nuts, nut butters, seeds, avocados, dried fruit, etc., and additional fruits and vegetables as well. Those less concerned about eating mainly whole foods can also include plant-based meats, plant-based protein powders, plant-based protein energy bars. Of course, we have our amazing plant-based protein powders here with Purium. And you can even make your own energy bars using some nut butters, some of our protein powders, a little bit of honey, and you've got a great protein bar right there. Some people like to add oats to that or different things to thicken it up, maybe some chia seeds or hemp hulls, and you've got a really great wholesome protein bar. So whatever it takes to get and hit the necessary caloric surplus. So getting enough protein. We all know that our amino acids give us a basic amount of proteins by taking at least 5 a day. A lot of us here in the community like to take up to 10 a day. And I know Dave has mentioned that he takes up to 30 in a day. So if you're somebody that's really trying to build muscle and you're really wanting to make those gains, up your amino intake, right? Getting enough protein is important for your muscle. So the next basic step is to make sure you eat enough protein because that's what muscle is made out of and can't build new muscle without it. That's why the aminos are so important. Because foods like meat, dairy, eggs usually contain a significant amount of protein despite being deficient in other key nutrients like fiber, vitamin C, folate, and potassium. People on an animal-based diet who want to gain muscle and strengthen often just eat more of the foods they're accustomed to, throwing in a protein shake or two just for good measure. For people starting on a plant-based eating, things are a little different, in part because protein isn't the first nutrient that comes to mind when they picture vegetarian or vegan food. More often than not, they just think of salad, which is what most people means lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, and more shredded carrots. Not exactly high protein dish. Which I find really interesting because there's foods like chia seeds and quinoa and broccoli that are all super high in protein, even though you wouldn't think of it as protein if you're a meat eater and that's what you're used to seeing as a protein source. There's so many other foods, and they're naming some here as well. Of course, in most parts of the world where meat isn't a staple, protein comes in the form of beans, peas, lentils, tofu, peanuts, nuts, seeds, and so on. In so-called developed countries, however, with the exception of peanuts, very few people regularly consume any foods mentioned above and think of plant-based foods as naturally low in protein. Hence the question people on plant-based diet are constantly bombarded with, where do you get your protein? Fortunately, the plant kingdom is full of protein-rich foods, which means all of the people who are looking to gain size and strength on a plant-based diet need to do, all they need to do is educate themselves on which foods those are and include lots of them into their daily eating schedule. So specifics, as we touch on what about protein, the idea that you can get enough protein from plants and or those sources, plant protein, are inferior has no basis or science. What is backed up by science research is how much protein, animal or plant, is required to increase or maximize size and strength. While the majority of people only need to eat about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, to maintain good health, research focuses on gaining muscle and strength has consistently shown that considerably more protein is required. So current research suggests that most athletes between 1.2 and 2.0 kilograms, with endurance athletes on the lower end of the spectrum and bodybuilders and strength athletes towards upper end of 1.6. If your goal is to increase muscle mass and strength as quickly as possible, like professional bodybuilders or powerlifters aim to do, research shows that as much as 2.2 grams can be effective. So it's worth keeping in mind that people who consume this much protein, whether they eat animal products or not, commonly rely on protein powders or supplements in order to hit these higher target numbers. So that's where the aminos come in handy. All of our protein shakes, we're going to get into that a little bit more. Of course, our number one is the ultimate lifestyle transformation, and that's where we all start off. So back to you, Allison.
Thank you so much, Naiva. That is such a incredible resource. And yeah, I mean, the ULT is a great gateway. There's so many people I've helped go plant-based just because they started incorporating this in, and it fills in all those missing pieces and it makes it so easy. And so for people who are looking to gain, we always recommend the ULT plus performance package, which is so complete for all of our athletes. And we're going to talk about some of those products. I know personally from my experience, we've been plant-based for 7 years and on Purium for almost 6 years. And what a difference, Purium makes, because going plant-based, definitely, I noticed some improvements in my health, but adding that Purium in, it gave me so much energy, and it made me want to start like doing push-ups and muscle building. And Jared as well, my husband, who's sitting here, he had an amazing, transformation. So we know that is so amazing. Some of the products that we always recommend for people who are looking to build, we say, well, the aminos, as you can see in the chat, a lot of people are talking about those aminos. We recommend for athletes, minimum like 15 a day to really, really feed those muscles. We also recommend the MVP protein shake, which is the cleanest, most delicious protein shake on the planet. I've compared it to every other protein shake. There's no comparison. The taste and the ingredients and the nutritional value is next to none. And it's also in home compostable packaging, of course. So we love that. But there's like adaptogen mushrooms in there. It's all organic. It's all food. Amazing. And the MVP comes in chocolate or vanilla. I love both of them. And we also talk about Super Life formula. So that is part of that package. I personally haven't had Super Life formula, but we're going to hear from Dennis, who I know has, and some other athletes. So I'd like to welcome our first guest, and then we're going to hear from some other council members on their families and what they've noticed. But if we can have Dennis, if you're out there, yeah. If you can come out here and share. Dennis, I've witnessed Dennis. He inspires me every day. And Dennis just turned 52. I had to just add that in there. So please take it away, Dennis.
52 going on 42. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much, Allison, for this opportunity. And to be presenting at the Million Moms movement. The Million Moms movement's been a real voice for me in my my parenting with my ex. So, they've been a strong voice to help me with, making sure that my daughter is getting the right nutrients into her body. So that's, she does the Epigenius. She loves it. And yeah, that's pretty cool. What do you want to talk about?
Okay, well, I want to hear from you, your experience. I know you were on this journey of, you're on this fitness journey before Purium came in, but I'd love to hear from you what changed with Purium, like why Purium, and why are you advocating, what has it done for you and your physical fitness performance abilities?
Right. Okay. So what I want to talk about is something that I did this week. So I just am doing a 5-day fruit fast. I did all organic grapes. We had a bunch of people from the Purium community that joined me. Michael, the Abundant Yogi, Julie Brar, Tammy Trissel, Gina Eves, Vincent Gordet joined in. So there was a bunch of people there. And everybody did different fruits, but I incorporated the Super Amino. So I was doing 3 great meals a day, and incorporating 5 Super Amino tablets with each meal. And wow, it put me into another galaxy. It was pretty incredible how I feel. I probably lost, I don't know, about 5 pounds this week, and sustaining all my muscle. The Super Aminos are incredible. They're fermented, so they're pre-digested, so that doesn't affect the fast. So that's great combination, the Super Aminos along with a great fast. So if anybody's inclined to do that, man, I highly recommend it. It's incredible. Look, like it's
No muscle
really,
loss.
no muscle loss at all. Yeah, so I started with Purium 28 months ago. I started with the immune ULT, but I quickly moved into the performance. I love the performance ULT. I love the Super Aminos. I love the Super Xanthan, the Super Lights, the Cocoa Hydrate. Whenever I'm doing yoga, for sure, all 4 of those, the can't beat this is going into my water bottle. And I do a lot of cycling as well. So, I used to get leg cramps all the time after hot yoga, hot power yoga, or when I was cycling. That's a thing of the past. So, electrolytes, rehydration, all of that is incredible, very incredible. As far, so I do a lot of the MVP sport proteins as well. I'm not an advocate for a high protein diet. I'm really not. I am like a 80-10-10. I'm all about longevity. I have goals to be a centenarian. So, I keep my protein low, but I do the Purium proteins, but I do them more for, adding new flavors into, my into the power shake. I'll add the chocolate, the MVP sport chocolate, and the chocolate just overwhelms the power shake, and it's just a chocolate shake, but you still have all those beautiful power shake nutrients. So it's incredible. Getting to animal protein, come on, guys, like animal protein has 0 fiber. It's highly acidic. It takes 2 to 3 days to digest. So, I mean, plant protein is so clean. All plants have all 9 essential amino acids. So some of them might be low. Okay. So if you're only eating one plant product, you might be low in one of those essential amino acids. But if you're eating a variety, then you're getting all 9 of your essential amino acids. And what I love about it, it's more in the percentage of the amount of protein that you should have. Right. So, yeah.
I love that you come at this from a longevity point of view, because there's so many fitness people who are just about that immediate, they want to look amazing right now. And so they'll even you see it all the time in competitive, bodybuilding, that they destroy their bodies just to look good for that competition or that picture. And so you're a pro, you've achieved the results, but coming at it from a health perspective, which needs to be at the forefront of all fitness. I mean, it shouldn't be about your physical appearance. The physical appearance will come, but it should be about how your health, your longevity, and your quality of life. So
Yeah, absolutely. Like you don't see any bodybuilding centenarians. Okay. I'm actually trying to reduce my muscle size. So that's and I attribute that to, I want a lean physique for longevity. I believe that. But it's hard when I'm doing all these superfoods because I can sustain the muscle that I have. It's so easy. Yeah, I really and the MVP sport's got so many good things. It's got maca, shaga, turmeric, probiotics, right? There's so many nutrients in there as well as the protein, and it's a clean protein. It's a vegan protein. Yeah, I'm all about clean eating. That's what kind of led me to Purium. I went vegan 5 years ago and learned all about health, and just it was the natural progression for me. Trying to get healthier and healthier and finding the cleanest, healthiest food. And lo and behold, Purium came into my life, and that was 28 months ago. Yeah, it's been incredible. Won't be stopping
amazing.
time soon, I promise you.
Well, yes, and hundreds of years will be on for many, many years to come. But yeah, you're amazing. You're so inspiring. And I love that you're, even trying to see, it's like when your mindset is right and you're not just doing like he's trying to like lose some of his muscle, but he's doing it for the right reasons. His whole gaining is for health. So you come to it easier than when people are putting this, they're just trying to anyway. I know that that's very inspiring story for a lot of people to hear you say that you're even trying to reduce, because it's hard to reduce when you're getting all of that clean protein and fuel that makes you just it makes you a powerhouse. Like you don't want to stop. So very Tammy as well. Do you want to share, Tammy? I don't know if because I know your kids are building muscle and you too. Oh, Tammy, you're not on mute. Are you able to unmute, Tammy? Oh,
Oh, now it let me. Hi, everybody. So if you don't know me, my name's Tammy Trissel. I've been on Purium for 3 years now. My daughter is 18 and she was really heavy into sports, a lot of softball, and got into bodybuilding. And Purium has completely transformed her workout routine. She doesn't miss days in the gym. The doctors were saying that she was going to need cortisone shots for her knees, and she started taking the joint flex, and she's 100% all better. The muscle gains that this girl has had, you can look on my Facebook page to see her muscles. She's ripped, chiseled. She amazes me, the amount of weight that she can lift, and she's doing phenomenal. She takes her Purium every day, and Harvey is 7. And Harvey loves caramel apple fiber on his toast.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? But you ate some this morning, all week, every day. And I am doing the grape mono fruit feast with Dennis, and I've done it before to reverse Crohn's and all kinds of other ailments that I was dealing with. So this is not my first time fruit feasting, but Harvey and I just went and jumped for 90 minutes with his cousins at the Sky Zone jump place. And this is day 3 for me, doing nothing but aminos and grapes. And I'm telling you guys, I was jumping circles around all the kids. They were just like, look at this lady go. They couldn't keep up with me. So if you think you're not going to have energy doing this, it's a big misconception. I have so much energy, and I'm just excited to see what else my body can do. I was at the gym yesterday doing cardio, lifting weights the day before, doing nothing but aminos and grapes, and I feel phenomenal. So I'm going to keep doing it, keep going. I think that's all I have to share today.
oh, thanks, Tammy. Wow. See, when you're on the lifestyle, you can kind of get deeper into your healing with these
So deep.
superfoods. It gives
Yeah,
you
and
kind of
my nephews were like, "What are you doing now?" You know, they're watching, because I did a water fast at the beginning of the month, and they're like, "Are you eating now?" And I'm like, "Well, today I'm only eating grapes." So, you know, it's inspiring them. And then my nephew, he's like, "I gave up candy for Lent," and he gave me his candy. He's like, "Give it back to me in 40 days." I'm like, "All right, let's do this." So it's so cute to see who we inspire.
amazing. Thank you so much, Sherry. And Naiva, I want and we're gonna get to a few other shares because we have three other shares here. So another call soon, but I'm gonna bring it over to Kevin to just share quickly. And thank you so much, Sunny, for your share. So Kevin, please give us your share. I know your story is incredible as well.
Hi, how's it going? I've been with Purium for 5 years or about 4 years, and plant-based 6 years. And I want to share one of my first customers that I had who I helped out was my cousin David. And he's never eaten meat in his entire life. And he had gone through some health issues and drinking. And he was, in the hospital bleeding because his liver wasn't working properly and his kidneys. And, he was overweight and fearing, a lot of challenges facing him. And he reached out to me and we talked about, making shifts in his diet and eating. And it took him a minute, but he lost some weight. And then he said, you know what? I lost some weight. I want to bulk up now. I really want to bulk up. And I introduced him to the aminos first. And then I introduced him to the proteins afterwards because he was really focused on, I want to bulk up now. And now he gained about 50 to 60 pounds of muscle. His transformation is unbelievable. He orders every single month the ULT Plus Performance, every single month, very consistently. He helps his clients with it now, on top of being a bodybuilder for himself, also personal trainer for others. And it's really an unbelievable transformation from him, from being in the hospital, fat, sick, and nearly dead, to basically training to be a bodybuilder, and pretty much only all on Purium and all plant-based 100%, which is really amazing. And you can see his story as well on my page or wherever. But also my mom, she was told that she was never going to be, she was going to be on 25 medications for her life. She was told that she needed to have surgery because she just fell and broke her wrist because she had stage 3 osteoporosis. She was ready to go to the hospital for the surgery. And I said, hey, let's try something different. I know you've been in the medical system for a long time. And she went with the aminos specifically. And the aminos helped her to heal without surgery, which was beyond amazing. I couldn't believe it. Even the results of her bone density test from the osteoporosis went down by 50%, a 200% increase, which the doctor said they've never seen, which was really unbelievable. And she was able to go to the gym for the first time since she was in high school. She's like in her 50s. So she's able to work out since she was in high school. And then for me, I was told I was never going to be able to work out ever again. The people that suffered from my autoimmune disease, they either, those that survive it, they're in a wheelchair and they're on disability. They can't move their spine and it's completely immovable. And you're told you're not supposed to work out or anything. So I was told I was basically facing disability in the future. So I'm just grateful that I can also work out and go to the gym and be physical. So that's what I wanted to share. And I mean, the superfoods and Purium is really the key to most of these. I mean, most of my family now overcoming a lot of their challenges.
It's amazing, Kevin. I'm so watching you help your family like this is so inspiring. I know so many of us are doing it, not just for ourselves. We're doing it because we want to inspire the people around us. And you're doing it, you got your mom and your cousin on it. And I know so many other family members are going to be joining, and your story, like seeing you today do a handstand, knowing your background, because not many people know how difficult, how impossible that was for you a few years ago when your spine autoimmune disease. So it's like to see people like transform and come into these like superhuman levels. It's why we do what we do every day, and so grateful.